Hi there, my name's Heather Pitts and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my shrink story. My problems with food started whenever I was about 9 years old. Whenever I was growing up, I was generally happy, but I had this feeling of low self-esteem, not good enough compared to my friends. So I decided I would go on a diet. I thought my diet would just be a short-term thing, but it continued on. My diet didn't stop. It turned into an eating disorder. My battle with food continued for the next 21 years, right throughout my teens, my 20s. My life was just a bit of a hospital revolving door, which involved dietitians and doctors and therapists. I was trying to help. I was trying to use the food in my life to try and make myself feel a bit better about myself, give myself a bit more self-esteem. If I lost that little bit more, I would feel a bit better about myself. But the dieting didn't work and it never changed a thing. I had a real breakthrough in 2011 whenever I let the Lord into my life. I realised that my worth wasn't about how much I weighed or how well I did at school or how much I exercised, but I was a beautiful person, perfect just the way I was. But although my eating, although my thoughts about myself had changed, I had 21 years worth of bad habits around food, wrong thinking about food, disordered thinking, controlling food. It was just totally and utterly all wrong. I had only ever been able to keep weight on or put weight on if it was whenever I was in hospital. Every time I left, because I didn't know how to eat, I didn't know how to cook food, I kept losing it again. Even though my thoughts about myself had changed, I still couldn't manage to put the weight on. I found myself becoming stuck because inside I knew I wasn't the same person, but every time I looked in the mirror I saw this very thin, anorexic looking person, and it was starting to pull me back into my old ways of thinking and that I would never be any more than just another anorexic. But then I knew Estelle and I spoke to her about it, and she said that I should do shrink. I was a bit surprised because I thought shrink was a diet plan, and I had been on so many diet plans so many times and it all just not worked. But once I started shrink, I realised it was not a diet plan. Shrink has taught me how to eat properly. My meals are good, they are balanced. I always had this preoccupation with control and with ready meals, but I know the meals I'm eating now are all balanced, they're all good, they're good for my body. And I have found, now that I'm putting good food in my body, I am getting good things out. My emotions have stabilised, my moods are better. My body is getting stronger, and the best thing about it is that I'm actually putting on weight. For me, this is a really, really big thing because I struggled so long and so hard with putting on weight and being frustrated at not being able to do that, because putting on the weight is just as big a part as my recovery, as my change in thinking. I found that even though my thinking was changed about myself, because my body wasn't changing, it was starting to pull me back. Now that I'm on shrink, I don't have to worry about the food that I'm eating. I know it's good, I know it's balanced and nutritious, and I am actually enjoying my food now. Because I'm following the plan, I have had to break down some really old, wrong mindsets that I've had about food. I've had to face fears about certain foods which I used to have in the past. I've faced those fears and I've realised that those fears are just fears, they're not truth at all. Because the change that was going on inside of me with regards to my thoughts and my feelings about myself and my life is now being translated into my body, into the physical, I really am getting breakthrough. I'm getting breakthrough in so many areas of my life. Shrink is not just a diet plan. It's about re-educating how you think about food, how you feel about food, and your attitude towards food. It has totally and utterly changed my life, both inside and out. I'm still on my shrink journey, but it is helping me rewrite 21 years of wrong mindsets and wrong thoughts about food. Shrink has brought me so much freedom, and I can guarantee you, shrink can bring you freedom too.